Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here this evening with you, ladies and gentlemen, and to address such a topical and very burning issue these days. I would like to start by telling you two stories. One which concerns zeal and passion, and the other one involves proclamation and witness. We as people of faith, we have the zeal, we have the passion for our faith, and we are involved in witnessing to our faith. So, from a Christian perspective, I want to address this issue of spiritual heritage and the destruction of symbols of faith and culture. The first story I want to tell you is about Jesus Christ. And this story is about what he did to make his point of view as clear as the sun shines in a cloudless sky. He wanted nobody to make a mistake about what he thinks about some of the issues, critical issues in his time. We are talking about 2,000 years ago. And listen to the story. St. Mark tells us in his narrative of the Gospel of St. Mark, the story. Then they came to Jerusalem. He's talking about Jesus and his disciples. And he entered the temple and began to drive out those who were selling and those who were buying in the temple. At that time, they made the temple like a market. And he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. And he would not allow anyone to carry anything through the temple. He was teaching and saying, and listen to what he said. Isn't it was written, "My house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations, but you have made it a den of robbers." Can you believe it? That's what he said to the leaders, the religious leaders at that time. In this incident, Jesus was definitely not the nice guy. He was not the gentle and meek man that we expect him to be. Jesus knew exactly that it would take more than a sermon like a priest would do, or a lecture from an intellectual to address the corruption in the temple. So what he did, he made his point by a provocative action, by a shock. He shocked the people and the leaders. Why did he do that? He did it to make a point, to point at the wrong activities that were taking place in the temple. He turned the tables. He cleansed the temple. He said, it is written that the temple is the house of prayer, and you made it a bazaar. You made it a den of robbers. But in this action, although it was shocking, even in his peak of his passion and even anger, He was aware that God was present in the temple. It was a place of worship, a focal point of the community, and a place that had clear bonds with the sacred, with God. Jesus caused no physical harm to anyone in the temple, not even a dove, not even to a chicken, not even the building. He did not harm anything because he respected that his zeal and passion is to correct if there is something wrong, but not to destroy in order to make your point, and not to kill in order to make your point. That passion, that zeal comes out of love. Love to what? Love to his community, love to his culture, love to the temple, and respect that the people who came to the temple were worshiping God. The second story involves Paul. St. Paul, who was converted to Christianity on the road to Damascus. He was also passionate about the faith. And let's hear what a book in the New Testament, the Acts of the Apostles, tells us this story when he went to visit Athens. And also we're talking about 1,900 years ago. So they took him, the people of Athens, and brought him to Areopagus. The Areopagus was a public place for court, for public appeal, and asked him, "May we know what this new teaching is that you are preaching and teaching and presenting? It sounds rather strange to us, so we would like to know what it means." Now, all the Athenians and the foreigners living there would spend their time in nothing but telling or hearing something new. They were passionate about new things happening. Then Paul stood in front of the Areopagus and said, listen to what he said. "Athenians, I see how extremely religious you are in every way, like us in the Middle East. We are extremely religious in every way. And actually, I go further to say we are religious by our DNA. So if you put our blood under the microscope, you see religion." So he said, "You are religious in every way. For as I went through the city and looked carefully at the objects of your worship, the idols, I found among them an altar with the inscription to an unknown God. What therefore you worship as unknown, this I proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it, he who is Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in idols and shrines made by human hands, nor is he served by human hands as though he needed anything, since he himself gives to all mortals mortal life, the breath and the life and everything. And he preached the gospel, the good news of his faith. And remember, Paul, when he went to Athens, he was in euphoria about Christianity, like any convert. The worst in any religion is the convert, because the zeal and the, the passion would be very high. So, despite that, in this incredible story, he takes the time and the effort to go around the city of Athens and study and examine all the idols they believe in and read about every idol. Why did he do that? Because he wanted to be prepared to engage with them in a dialogue. He wanted to equip himself to talk to the Athenians. He prepared everything, and then he encountered the people of Athens. He respected that they did not know about his faith, and they were faithful to what they knew and believed in. So he did not judge them. He was not judgmental. He did not condemn them because they believed in idols, because they did not know better. What he didn't do, he didn't go around Athens smashing the idols and destroying everything. Of course, out of zeal and passion. Why didn't he do that? Because if he had done that, he would have lost the opportunity to share with the Athenians the joy of his faith, the excitement of his faith, the faith in Jesus Christ that it filled his heart. He would have lost all the opportunities, because they would have thought he would be what? Mad, crazy, criminal. So they would have thrown him to jail, in the prison, or out of the city. So what did he gain? Nothing. He would have lost the chance. Both examples. And listen, even idols. We're not talking about other believers. Idols. Both examples, Jesus and St. Paul, teach us that places of worship they have the utmost importance to their communities, and that they should be respected. Places of worship act as the focal points for their communities, focal points for the culture, focal points for the activities of the society. And they are often places of education, places of meditation, places of prayers, and places of memories. We all believe that God is holy and the source of holiness. The uniqueness of Christianity among the monotheistic religions is that this holy God, this almighty, all-knowing, all-present, this fantastic, wonderful God, out of his love, out of his overflowing love to humanity, came to us, embraced our humanity, walked in our streets, and taught in our sacred places. By doing that, he sanctified not only the worship places, not only the places he touched and walked in, he sanctified earth, the whole planet. In the Christian faith, we share with other faiths, Islam and Judaism, that God is the source of holiness. And God is the one who makes things holy and sacred, not us. St. Paul says, "Oh, Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit within you, which you have from God, and that you are not your own? We are not our own. We are God's. So the ultimate temple we need to look after is our bodies. Because also the monotheistic religions, 3 of them, join in believing that we are created on the what? Anybody knows? We are created on the image of God. Thank you. Image of God. The image of God is in us. Because of that, that image makes us holy. The true temples of God are us. We are the ones who proclaim His love when we meet in places of worship. The holiness is not in the bricks and mortars. It is us and our gathering together. The space becomes sacred through our prayers and the presence of our relationship with God. So a place becomes holy or sacred because it is a space where people experience a communion with God, where we collectively feel the longing to gain an insight into a deeper meaning of our lives. What is faith then, if not a deeper meaning and a purpose for our lives? Sacred places present our spiritual heritage. Shrines, tombs, churches, mosques, etc. All these sacred places, they are our spiritual heritage, which does not only involve us, it is the journey of generations. And every generation adds something to it and learns from it. It encompasses different aspects of spiritual life, like architecture, symbolism, rituals, and of course, it is the story of our communities using these places. When we say this is a shrine of somebody who is holy, there is a story behind it. We are not saying we are worshiping the stones of the place, but we are respecting the story behind the holy event or person. In such places, we encounter the transcendent God. Because here, in these places, we encounter God. God becomes accessible. We feel stronger. And the bond with God makes God immanent. So God moves from being transcendent to being immanent with us. Today, sacred places around the world, and especially in the Middle East, are under attack from those whose fanaticism has blinded them to the truth that these are sites where people praise and give glory to the Creator in their own way, and where God works through the lives of those people. Those people who dedicated themselves to God, God worked and still works through such people. And in their vicious hatred, they are blinded to the truth that such places are there to equip people to serve their communities in peace and harmony. This hatred is targeting to destroy these sacred places and wound our communities. The destruction of sacred places is meant to kill our hope for a better life together. So people of faith must respond to such destruction by showing even stronger acts of solidarity like this we are in with each other and with those of other faiths. I want to finish by telling you how the Copts, the Christians in Egypt, responded in the very, very difficult time in Egypt, where when in a couple of days, dozens of churches were burned down. How the Christians responded to some Muslim who tried to come down to the streets to protect the Christian churches from being burned down and destroyed. The Copts, the Christians in Egypt, released a very short statement saying, listen to that, to all our Muslim brothers and sisters who want to defend the churches, we say, please do not come down to do so. Because if the buildings are destroyed or burned down, we can replace them. But if you are hurt, we cannot replace you. Thank you.